Hey, what's going on everyone? GeneralTarheel bringing you the first week of the SDL Season 6 Week 1 battle. First coat Purple and the Kohana Hydreigons, I believe that's how you pronounce it. Coming into the first week, we are facing the most terrible Uber of them all. And by terrible, I mean the scariest and most evil, which is Mega Metagross. Purple is a fine battler and he has a very strong team, as I will pull up the roster right here. Mega Metagross, Hydreigon, Togekiss, Gastrodon, Entei, Scolipede, Miltank, Manectric, Machamp, Claydol, and Gourgeist. His users being Hydreigon, Machamp, and I believe Scolipede? Yeah, should be Scolipede. Alright, so if you did not check out my draft analysis to know my entire team, please go check that out. It's a little long, I'll agree to that, but it gives you a good idea of why I drafted the team I have and how efficiently it can work together. As for the team build, I really had to focus on weakening the Mega Metagross. That was my main priority, as well as I wanted to be able to get the proper settings for Hawlucha to sweep. So first up, we have the Garchomp. Garchomp was a speedy Garchomp with bulk, enough speed to outspeed the Hydreigon, while running defensive investment in order to take on the Entei and Scolipede decently well as just eating the hit from Mega Metagross that is an Ice Punch. I had Rough Skin Rocky Helmet. This was basically just to get a lot of damage off of Flare Blitz Entei if he chooses that, or Scolipede Mega Horn, and then if I can catch the Metagross on like a Bullet Punch or a Meteor Mash, then it takes a lot of chip damage, which is very important. The Garchomp had Stealth Rock, Earthquake, Dragon Claw, and Toxic, basically just to get on a few things. I figured he would have Heal Bell on his Togekiss or his Miltank. I could force the Heal Bell with the Toxic and get a little bit of momentum in my favor. Dragon Claw I purely had for the Hydreigon. I had 20 attack investment just so I could kill most Hydreigons after Stealth Rock, I believe, because I will win the speed tie unless he is a Scarf Hydreigon. As for As for the next Pokemon, we have Milotic, Flame Orb, max defense basically with just a little bit of speed, because he does have a few mons that could just barely go above me in speed and be a little annoying. Which was what? Now that I think about it, whatever. Togekiss. Togekiss is just one base point lower. As for Milotic, it had Recover, Toxic, Dragon Tail, and Scald. Or was it Recover, Scald, Dragon Tail, Ice Beam, maybe? It's one of the two. Either way, Milotic was there just to absolutely wall the Metagross. Thunder Punch after the Flame Orb wasn't going to be doing more than 37% to Milotic. So I could eat it, get off a Scald, and then I could properly recover off. And then if I could get momentum based off of that, it also easily helps me versus the Entei as well as the Scolipede. If it was a Flame Orb Machamp, there's nothing we can do about it. That thing's just too strong. And it takes it well decently. It does not help, unfortunately, against special attackers in Hydreigon, Manectric, and possibly Togekiss. Next up, we have Mega Alakazam to abuse the Psychic Terrain. Mega Alakazam had Psychic, Dazzling Gleam, Shadow Ball, and Substitute. I can Mega whenever I want, so I could trade Scolipede's Speed Boost if I waited to Mega Evolve, but in case I didn't, and I had to Mega Evolve for certain damage output or something of the sort, I had Substitute, so I could Substitute on his Protect. Psychic just blew everything back. Shadow Ball was for the Metagross, as well as the Claydol, and then I had Dazzling Gleam purely for the Hydreigon. Next up, we had the Lele. This had Terrain Extender with Taunt, Psychic, Moonblast, and Shadow Ball. Very like the same coverage basically as Alakazam, and then I had Taunt for the Togekiss in case of any shenanigans, as well as Miltank if Lele was already out and could prevent rocks or something of the sort. Next up we have Hawlucha, the highlights of the squad. We had Swords Dance, Acrobatics, High Jump Kick, and Stone Edge. Basically, if he was a max defensive Togekiss, we just had to get rocks damage on it in order for it to, for sure, be KO'd with a +2 Stone Edge. If he was a well, Metagross needed a little bit of chip, which came from either the Rocky Helmet and Rough Skin from my Garchomp after one contact hit, or knocking out my Skuntank. Either of those put Mega Metagross in range of a +2 high jump kick from my Hawlucha in order for sweeping possible. Now, when I did this build with the Hawlucha, I was thinking that Extreme Speed and Bullet Punch could not hit me inside terrain. And that's where I was wrong. We were pointed out to this during the battle near the end game, and you'll see that eventually. Since I am flying, the priority moves are allowed to hit me. I thought it was the other round where only flying types could use priority moves, but it's a good thing Purple and I thought on the same basis. I had a lot of bulk in this Hawlucha. It was max attack adamant with HP and some Spadef, just for me to take a Air Slash from a Togekiss in case I needed to, because I could just set up in his face basically freely. I did try to put enough bulk to where actually it was a roll to where my Hawlucha from 100% could live a Bandit speed from Entei into an Air Slash from a non-invested Togekiss. And that's basically it for Hawlucha. It was just meant to sweep. The terrain extender from Lele was to get me a lot of chances just to be outside of the priority, even though it didn't seem to matter. And then lastly for Skuntank, we have a very interesting Skuntank. A lot of HP with Spadef, but also enough defense to live a Meteor Mash from Metagross after Stealth Rocks, as well as a little attack investment to always 3-hit KO a max defensive Togekiss, or come close to it with Poison Jab. We had Defog, Play Rough, Crunch, and Poison Jab. Defog was just in case hazards were really annoying. I didn't really expect them to be this game, but it was just in case he brought a hazard lead Scolipede. So, needed that just in case. The Aftermath, of course, like I mentioned, would be helpful for either the Entei or the Mega Metagross mainly. So, kicking off this battle, as I will get rid of the roster. When I saw his team, I was happy not to see Scolipede. It was a little bit of a problem from time for this team. I needed to scout whether or not Hydreigon was Specs or Scarf. Manectric I figured would be a choice item as soon as I saw it, but I was a little worried about it because my Skuntank could probably take it on decently well, but otherwise it actually does a decent amount of damage versus my team, especially if it's a second Scarfer. Togekiss, once again, could be Scarf. He has 3 potential Scarfers right there. Or it would be defensively bulky, or Spadef bulk in order to help with Lele, as well as Alakazam. Miltank I knew was going to be like physical bulk along with Stealth Rocks and Milk Drink and all that good stuff, the basic set. Mega Metagross most likely going to be Meteor Mash. I was thinking Zen Headbutt to abuse my Psychic Terrain, Ice Punch and Thunder Punch. He needed Thunder Punch and Ice Punch for sure. For Celesteela and Milotic, Thunder Punch, Ice Punch for Garchomp. Meteor Mash, of course, just to destroy the rest of the team. He could bring Bullet Punch if he was not too worried about terrain. But Zen Headbutt in the Psychic Terrain just does so much damage, even to my Flame or Milotic. If he got max rolls after one hit and then burn, and another hit Milotic could actually go down to 2 Zen Headbutts in Psychic Terrain, which is kind of ridiculous. So as we were starting off this battle, I decided to lead Skuntank because I could go ahead and get Chip on Metagross if he decided to lead that. It also countered a Hydreigon or a Manectric lead if he was trying to take care of my Garchomp. So as I kick off the replay here, I did lead Skuntank and he does lead the Manectric. I'm just going to go hard on the Garchomp, assuming this thing is definitely choice locked. And I checked the calcs. HP Ice isn't going to be doing more than 60% to me anyways, because I am bulky. So I'm going to get up my Stealth Rocks early like I wanted, and I'm going to go right into my Milotic. Knowing you probably won't go for a Toxic, but this is a free Flame Orb. And I get to see what this Melting wants to do. As he goes for Thunder Punch, does a whopping 14%. And I'm going to go for the Scald, get off a nice 33. And I'm going to make a play out here into my Lele. Go ahead and set up Psychic Terrain. I knew he was going to be switching out. Wasn't sure into what. In Chase, it was Hydreigon. Lele was a decent play. Go for the Psychic. Unfortunately, he misses his Thunder Wave. I was tempted to taunt here, but that's sucks for Purple. It really only didn't just help him in that scenario, because Lele just doesn't do much for the rest of the game. It's just for the extender. Since the Metagross has Pursuit, which is cool tech, I go into Skuntank here. I get my Papa Berry back. We go for the Crunch after the Meteor Mash. He does get the attack boost, which unfortunately stinks, but he will just go for the Meteor Mash again, take all that Aftermath. Mega Metagross, just like that, is at 25%, which is great. I'm going to go into Mega Zam here. I'm going to know he's going to switch, so I'm going to go ahead and get out my substitute. This easily allows me to check if this Hydreigon is Scarf. As he goes for the U-turn, it does show he is. He goes into Entei here on my Dazzling Gleam, which is very clever because now he's allowed to click E-Speed since the terrain has ended. I'm going to go into Garchomp here though as he goes for a Sacred Fire. As he goes into Meltank here, I'm just going to go for Dragon Claw in case he made another swap. Right here I'm going to go right back into Lele and set up my terrain. Knowing Meltank is going to go for the Milk Drink here for its longevity. I'm going to go for Psychic here, just get off a lot of damage on this Meltank. I was hoping it was going to kill me here, but it doesn't. So I clicked Shadow Ball here because this was my best chance for me to set up with Hawlucha, because Meltank is setup fodder. It's not going to be doing more than, I think max 38% was the roll for Ice or Thunder Punch on my Hawlucha, because I am pretty bulky. And I'm like, okay, I pick up like kills on majority of his team, and he has to leave Entei alive if he doesn't have Bullet Punch on his Mega Metagross. So as I let the Meltank kill my Lele here, I freely go into my Hawlucha. There goes our Psychic Seed, we take Stealth Rock damage. I'm going to go for the Swords Dance here, and as you see, Thunder Punch only does 38%. You actually got a pretty high roll there. And we do not get parried, so we just go for the Acrobatics. This is a roll on the Manectric for Acrobatics, so I do have to click High Jump Kick. I was really wishing I had Drain Punch at this point in the match, but it's fine. +2 Acrobatics will take out Mega Metagross, as well as the Hydreigon, unless he was an extremely bulky Scarf, which doesn't make any sense. So we take out the Hydreigon there, and he goes into Entei here. I should have went just right into my Lodic and saved my differential, but out of getting greedy with Hawlucha, I clicked Acrobatics. But we will just go into my Lodic here, click Scald, and pick up the kill on Entei, having Katara get its first kill of the season. But that was a very solid match. We did realize at this point, as some people were pointing it out, that Priority could still hit my Hawlucha because I am in the air. I'm not sure if he had Bullet Punch on his Mega Metagross. I did not remember asking him after, but he could have went into Entei early and just taking out my Hawlucha. If I would have known that, I wouldn't have necessarily... Actually, I would have just clicked High Jump Kick on the Meltank, because I did have enough... he was weak enough to where I could do that. But basically, I opted to get up the SD to where I could just for sure not have to High Jump Kick spam. But basically, at that point, even without the +2, everything died to High Jump Kick. I think Manectric even died to High Jump Kick at that point. Don't have me promise that. I'm not sure. By the way, we pick up a 3-0 win. It was unfortunate for Purple for not understanding the terrain just like I did, but either way, the terrain's confusing with how certain things are affected. It's just the ground that's affected by like the things. So like anything in the air can still be hit by and crap like that. I have no clue. So we pick up a nice win. Hawlucha gets the 4 kills. Lele got 1, and then Milotic picked up 1. So not bad. Next week we will be taking on Kurt and the Adelaide Absols, so make sure to look forward to that. Check out my APA for this week if you haven't already, and I'll see you guys next week. Deuces.